the report we talked about today. And the Myanmar government policy of the systematically targeting of the prosecuting Arakanese are living under threat ethnic cleansing. The current war, thousands of Arakanese are suffering from the devastating consequences of violations committed by the Myanmar army. The situation had led critical for the supplies humanitarian aid and crisis of food and basic human rights in Rakhine State. This is already the dire situation. Many people are suffering from violence. Many innocent civilians have repeatedly harassed, detained, beaten, killed, tortured by the Myanmar authority. At least over 100 people, innocent civilians, were killed and 15 were died in custody and arrested 180 in prisons. About 278 people injured, civilians death and injured for violence, 15% of death and 31% of the young people who are age group 0 to 17 and all ages group who are subjected to the various forms of violations. So especially when you see that many young people 0 to 17 who are more targeted, many victims are innocent civilians and especially children, women, and elders. They're very vulnerable this crisis. Myanmar authority, today's millions of Arakanese across the globe, not only Rakhine State, have been traumatized by the actions of Myanmar soldiers. This had to widespread fear and insecurity of Arakanese people. In addition, oppressive measure exercised by the Myanmar government dehumanized the powerless minorities, especially Rakhine and other minorities groups, especially ethnic minorities such as Rakhine, Mro, Marma, and Chakma as well as many minorities, Hindus and Muslim communities, Christian. The recent war and political crisis in Rakhine State have limited the freedom of expression. Many people are arrested, most of the journalists who are posted something is what is violations going on in human rights crisis in Burma, in Rakhine State. So most of the serious human rights violation, another crisis is many people are over criminalizations of the voice of resistance and political opinion. Many people are getting arrested by the Myanmar authority when they express their concern about their life and security and other people. Myanmar government counter-terrorism law and policies cannot be an exercise to violently repress people. And many minorities communities, especially Rakhine indigenous communities, face security threat. So Myanmar government is put more risks people's life in Rakhine State. Myanmar has failed to demonstrate it is willing to be a responsible state and its lack respect for the international norms and rules. In addition, many have experienced arbitrary arrest and torture during interrogation. About 17 people die while they are in custody because torture by the military and authorities. The actions of the government are breach of the International Convention on Civil and Political Rights, including the rights to liberty, to be free from arbitrary detention, Article 9, the right to liberty of the movement, and the right to the freedom of expression, Article 19, peacefully assemble, Article 21, which is the United Nations High Human Rights UDHR, adopted by the United Nations, which protect the rights of human rights advocates, civil humanitarian workers, students, and then innocent civilians, promote innocent civilians to promote the to promote human rights at international and national and international level. Myanmar has failed to demonstrate its willing to be responsible state and its lack of respect for the international norms and rules. IC is urging the government of Myanmar to be held accountable for all violations committed against the Rakhine civilians during the ongoing armed conflict in Rakhine State. Not only Rakhine State, it is also many Arakanese who face all kind of facing racism and discrimination by the majority Burman community. So ICS call upon the government of Myanmar to uphold universal human rights standard and the UN Declaration on Human Rights, especially those of freedom of expression, peacefully assemble, freedom from the torture and ill treatment, and fair trial. Instead of stepping up their repression with the fresh round of arbitrary detention and genocide, the Myanmar authorities should stop harassing peaceful civilians and ensure all these detained solely for the peacefully exercising the rights of freedom and expression and association and assembly for the immediately unconditional release. And we will be standing on with the people in Myanmar. What is International Campaign for Arakan is calling, the immediate and urgent calling is immediate cessation of the war and ensuring the Rakhine people are guaranteed freedom of expression, immediate involvement, especially the international humanitarian organization and government and human rights organization, so the needs, the human rights crises. Also, this report is highlighted more about the human rights crisis and arbitrary arrest and detention. You see there on my right side, many innocent civilians are terrorized and victims by the Burmese military. This is a targeting genocide, killing civilians and especially the most of young children, 0 to 17, and some children die in this war less than 4 or 5 years. And also especially they're targeting most of our cultural heritage, destroying statue and also targeting the young civilians, especially monks and women and children. Especially elders are victims. They burn out many villages. People are over the 70,000 people or IDPs who are living in the camp without access of better food and shelter. And the left side, you will see that many arbitrary arrests and extrajudicial killings. Many Arakanese get arrested without any criminal activities. So many young generation, you see that they're not just using the bullets and helicopter. Also, they are using the chemical weapon, and that's the kind of against the international law. So we still call not only the Japan government, also calling the United Nations many agencies that not just only protecting our people, also protect our identity and our cultural heritage. Today we have a danger because especially in Rakhine State, we are the minorities people, and also we are the part of the indigenous ethnic minorities. And you will see that this is the UN Declaration on Rights of Indigenous People. As the indigenous people, we have the rights to protect our language, culture, and identity, and also we have rights to be self-determination. So some are our recommendations I would like to highlight today. Is recommendation that International Campaign for Arakan call on the government and international community closely to Myanmar, especially the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, including ASEAN countries, especially the Japan, especially the one of the Buddhist country. When you see that sharing responsibilities more about today's world, there is a fight, there is many IDPs, people suffering one next to our door. it is very important for us, like some people are has crisis, how we can step up and helping those who are vulnerable people next to us. So we really want that Japan government and Japan government, their leadership to protect our, they're targeting our Buddhist young monk and they're killing many killing monks and also destroying our cultural heritage and identity, especially the UNESCO is, we are going to be nominated the one of the our cultural heritage place. So we want Japan government step up and part of the saving our the safeguard of, and protecting our heritage. And also, I would like to highlight one thing is ratify the International Convention for protection of all persons from the enforced all abuses. So about I think it's about over the 100 people who died died this war, especially Myanmar government is shooting civilians and then burning villages, and many victims who are children, young people, elders, especially targeting women. So the many about 80 people are 180 people are in prison. They're just criminalizing people. So if you are involving our own movement, so because of we have a right to have self-determination and what we want from our people, what is our wish and what we want, and we have always rights to express as a people of Rakhine State what we want for the future for our generation. So Myanmar government is criminalizing our minorities, the civilians, and arresting people. So we want them to stop as soon as possible, and we do need your support, especially medias play an important role, and because of our fight is more, this fight is more than 10 months today. Many international news agencies never highlighted. So our people is one of the forgotten the crisis issues in the world, and please, on behalf of International Campaign for Arakan and Rakhine, on behalf of Rakhine people, we humbly request your support, not only the news, also the many humanitarian agencies and international government, with the political leaders to raise awareness and protect our people and our identity. Thank you very much for joining us today.